Welcome, welcome to my introduction to the New Year's bundle. And this is for you if this is the year you master visual thinking. So what I've done with this bundle is bundle together my core comprehensive course, the Agerbeck method, with a year in my membership community with a little bonus there in the corner, which we'll talk about later. Now, I thought a lot about how do you learn visual thinking. It's a complex skill set, and there's a lot of different approaches you can take. This particular bundle approach, it takes the route of three ways folks may like to learn. So this is perfect for you if you like to learn step by step, very clear learning path. Also fantastic if you are the type of person who might need some deadlines to stay on track. And then the third is this might be great for you if you like to learn with other glorious human beings. So here first, if you like to learn step by step, that is precisely how I designed the Agerbeck method. This came from publishing a book called The Idea Shapers, which isn't within arm's reach at the moment. Very dense reference to all of the Idea Shapers, all 24 techniques within this skill set of visual thinking. When I got it out into the world, some folks said, I can tell there's really good things here, but I don't know how to navigate it. And the beautiful thing about this online course is it allows me, one, to break things down step by step, brick by brick, lesson by lesson, put them in a gorgeous order for learning. And two, I get to demonstrate things in video I can't do on the pages of a book. So it's definitely the companion to the Idea Shaper book. This is a screenshot. This is actually the very first video you see when you register for the course, and all video based. Each day has a video. Below each video is some description. Definitely include every day a suggestion for a practice builder. Now, of course, watching me, especially watching with paper and pen, practicing and taking notes is fantastic. And putting even more practice beyond that is going to really be what helps you master visual thinking as your lifelong skill. That is why I'm here. That is why I hope you'll join me. And that is what I want for you. That anytime you're facing a challenge, that you can tackle it with paper and pen. So here are some general qualities of the course. Easy access, as long as you can watch and hear a video, whether it's on a phone or a tablet or a laptop or a whatever, you're good to go. It is self-guided. Now here, the course is 9 modules, 10 days per module, 10 lessons per module over the course of 90 days. With the bundle, we're going to have a really nice pacing built in, but fundamentally, self-guided course. You can fit these lessons into your life wherever they fit best. Access anytime. I've had folks where this is what they do on their mid-morning break. I've had folks, this is what they do after the kid goes to bed and they have that quiet time at night. Whatever works, the course is ready for you. No special tools. Those of us who love these tools, or if you're curious about this work, you might be the kind of person who loves that special sketchbook, that special journal, or that extra special pen that just writes. And that is all fantastic, and I absolutely understand, and it's super not necessary for this course. Really, truly, you need some paper, you need some pens, you need the course, you're good to go. Nothing gets in your way. I believe in lifelong learning. That is why you get lifetime access with the Agerbeck method course. And lastly, it's repeatable. This has been something that just warms my heart, makes my heart sparkle, which is when somebody has completed this big, gorgeous, comprehensive course and says, I can't wait to come back and do it again. Even in this cohort that we just kicked off today, tons of folks returning saying, I'm taking this course again with this specific approach or this specific lens I'm looking at, looking at the course with fresh eyes, and just getting stronger and stronger in their visual practice. So in a few moments, we will get back to the step-by-step part. These are the 9 modules in the course. We will talk more soon, but first, Let's talk about those who need deadlines to get it done. I hear you. We're not alone. So as part of this New Year's bundle, with that membership in Loose Tooth Studio that you saw on the right, and you'll see again in a moment, we have a series of 10 group coaching calls. We just had the kickoff today, and on February 3rd, we will have the call for Module 1 about Canvas. Now, the secret sauce here is we've got this lovely pacing of we meet every 4 weeks. That gives us 28 days to complete 10 lessons. Now, I've certainly seen some folks who schedule out their learning over those 28 days. And I can tell by when people comment on videos, that's kind of like a little bit of hint, a little bit of breadcrumbs of how people are moving through the course. Sometimes there's folks who clearly have blocked off several hours to tackle several lessons at once. And probably most like me, the folks who cram the day or two before our call. And you know what? It all works. All of it is perfectly acceptable. All of it is perfectly welcome. You fit these 10 lessons in those 28 days, however work best for you. But happily, we now have these live calls where we get to talk about what we learned. I love answering questions. It's just a fantastic discussion with all these folks who have the same shared language and the same shared experience learning visual thinking. Now, we've already kind of hinted at this, but if you love learning with others, this part of the bundle is that 1-year subscription in Loose Tooth Studio, my membership community. And we'll definitely talk about that little tiny gift in the corner. But this is what it looks like in Mighty Networks, which is the home of Loose Tooth Studio. Over that box over there is pointing out itty bitty teeny tiny navigation of the Agerbeck method, the AgMe circle in our online community. That is available to anybody who is in both the Agerbeck method and any tier of membership. But with this bundle, I made it super simple. It's the course, it's the first level of membership, and it is that special bonus gift. So here on this page, there is a tab for events. This is where you'll see all the stuff that's coming up. What I love is already off the bat, there are folks who are self-organizing a co-working session. So absolutely have my permission, have my blessing, have my encouragement that the folks in the group can meet up in between our calls that are every 4 weeks. And then below that, you can see the official calls that happen on Fridays at 11 a.m. Chicago time. If you can't make it, there absolutely are replays. And if you can't make it, you're always welcome to add your questions to the posts a week before and 1 day before that live session. So that is the learning with people part. That is the gentle deadlines part. And now let's look at a little more detail of the structure of the Agerbeck method itself. First, our first module is about Canvas. That's all about you as the canvas, you as the blank canvas, and what are the things that are going to help you succeed through the course and beyond. Next, we talk about the landscape, which is seeing all your ideas at once. And the third topic in that first module is the stack, which becomes many of our best friends for thinking, where instead of looking at everything on one surface, seeing all your terrain at once, instead with the stack, you're putting one idea per index card or post-it note so we can sort and shuffle out our thinking. Today is January 6th. 2 days ago, I had an emergency stack situation. The only way I could get through the tough stuff I was wrestling was with a stack. So that is Canvas. Our second module, now we're talking about proximity. And proximity is about scattering your ideas across the page, breaking those linear patterns. And this is about where do you place an idea on the page. One thing I love about this idea of placement, and you'll meet these two in that second module, is some of us tend to be more of a messy mel, where it's totally fine if it looks like popcorn scattered across the movie theater floor. And then there's others of us who are tidy tilde and want everything to line up, to have those perfect groupings of 3, that kind of thing. So in the course, you'll learn more about these two types, and what it means. Our third module is about text. Yes, text in visual thinking. Now, what very often happens, especially if you felt constrained around the ways you've been taught or the methods you use at the workplaces that are very text-based, they're very linear, they're very auditory. For those who discover these tools, discover visual thinking, you might feel a little bit like this, like, oh, text is bad, and now images are good. Now, really what visual thinking about, oh, another pitfall, before I get to the good part, another pitfall is when you go from this idea of, here's a concept, here's how I would capture it in words, now how do I translate that into images? The issue here is we're getting into very binary thinking of words into image, word into image, word into image. Too much of our mental energy is tied up in translating from old school text to images. Truly, 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 the happy place in visual thinking is the love affair between words and images. So in this third module, we'll definitely talk about that relationship between words and images. Here is one of the lessons around distilling down your language using one idea shaper called the retort. This is a little bit of a hint into the language the shared language that we're building throughout the course. Our third topic in this particular module, we talk a whole heck of a lot about lettering, handwriting, how to improve your handwriting, all the possibility and play you can have with how the heck do you write those words in your visual thinking. So here we've got modules 1, 2, and 3. And these three modules are all about making your thinking more spatial. So here we are doing some unlearning. It is about breaking some old patterns of linear thinking, reading images or reading text from left to right and top to bottom. We're breaking that up so there's more possibilities of how pieces can fit together. Now next, our fourth, fifth, and sixth modules are the juicy parts around how do the pieces fit together, how do the pieces relate. Our fourth module is about color. Color, for some folks, feels very mysterious. For some folks, it feels entirely known and intuitive. One of the first things I teach, you may have already heard this from me, which is use color a lot versus using a lot of colors. So when you use a lot of colors at once, you don't really know what is the job of each color. And when it gets really bad, we call it something I call clown barf. Just all the colors on the same surface, no sense of meaning for one particular color or another. Conversely, you might have something like this where there's no color at all, and it's hard to ascertain, to pick out what is a word versus a connector. It's all built of lines. So what is that face versus that block letter? So instead, what we want to do, and this is definitely a sneak peek into one of the best parts of this module, is we want to think about the depth of color by thinking around the contrast. How light or how dark is a color? So we can make certain things recede, or I guess recede for me. Okay, certain things are going to pop forward because of high contrast. Where are we going? There we go. High contrast. Certain things go in the back, recede, because they're those lighter, low contrast items. An example of a trio using yellow as a light color, dark green as the middle color, and black as our highest contrast color. So little bitty sneak peek into part of module 4. 5, line. Incredibly simple. Here, this is something I call the cluster cowboy, when you start wrangling ideas and organizing levels of information in your drawing. So here we've got lines that act as a container around a main idea, and we have lines that act as connectors between different levels of information from those main ideas. At a glance, you can see there are 5 topics, 5 sets of information on this page, super clear, thanks to very, very simple lines. Borrow this from my TEDx talk from 2013. I gave this example of this is what a family tree looks like as far as, by the book genealogist. This was how my family felt to me. So you can see how much we can express with those simple connector lines. Our sixth module in this middle row is all about scale. So here, think about that vista, think about that larger view of your information. And what we want to do here is create levels of hierarchy, levels of information, and using the same visual choices within a set of information. So a quick example here is it's a handout from a workshop from long ago. You can absolutely understand at a glance the main idea. It's big, it's central. And then we understand those 6 things. Even if we didn't have the stars there, you'd still understand those 6 things are all the same level of information at a glance. And in this particular case, we've got 5 different levels within the drawing, all the way from that big, giant, here's the main idea, down to little itty bitty supporting ideas. This row, so good. Here, these modules around color and line and scale, these are all about the relationships between ideas. This is where we get organized with our thinking. How do those pieces fit together? Now, our final row, the home stretch. Here in Module 7, what we're focused on is shape. Here we're starting to think about how do the larger pieces fit together. Also, maybe going into a drawing with a shape in mind. Now, in this particular example, let's imagine I was going to be listening to a speaker talking about food and culture. Now, in this particular shape, what I thought was, why don't I create a horizontal line that splits the page into 1/3 about food, 2/3 about the experience of food and the ear. And that would just give me some structure, some ways of carving up the page before I get started. So that's definitely part of what we talk about in shape. Number 8, here we're at image. As you'll learn, maybe you've already caught on here, when I teach visual thinking, I teach visual thinking. Far more about how do we organize our thinking, how do we represent how ideas fit together, very much a de-emphasis on iconography, on images. Really, if you're looking for iconography, this is not the course for you. We will touch on how to draw figures, because I think that's the very first place to start. And we'll also touch on how do you collect those icons that work best for your particular visual practice. So that is Module 8 about image. And now finally, the home stretch, the very, very home stretch. Module 9, this is about flow. So here, let's see if I can, this is some screenshots from one of the lessons talking really about how do you show a sense of direction throughout your charts as one example. So it's both about flow in the drawings itself and also around your flow in your practice, kind of developing your own style, recognizing the patterns within your own work. So those are the 9 modules of, oh wait, that last row of shape, image, and flow. These 3 are all about making your work more integrated, more of a center of gravity, more of a sense of shape, a sense of how do you move through that image, and a stronger composition in your visual thinking. There we go. Now you have met all 9 modules in the Agerbeck method. You can sign up for the Agerbeck method any darn time you want, because I am here to help you master visual thinking as your lifelong skill. And right now you have the opportunity to join me in the membership, in the course, in these 10 calls together as we work through the course. Every 4 weeks having a call in camaraderie with shared language, nerding out together, as I like to call it, my Friday Smarty Parties. Great time to join us, especially with these layers, these different approaches of learning, again, step by step, and with some gentle deadlines, and with an absolutely lovely community. So I would absolutely love to have you join me in the New Year's bundle. That last little corner is I would love to gift you Draw in Your New Year. Now, everything you saw previous to this slide was about tackling any type of blank sheet of paper or index card or post-it note or whiteboard, any of those things. Here, I am guiding you through 4 exercises, 4 drawings. So these are guided drawings that help you really hit your personal reset button. See, kind of process where you've just been at, look at where you want to go next, and because I want this to be the year you master visual thinking, I want this right now to be the season you join me and be the season that you embrace visual thinking. I want to gift you these 4 exercises in Draw in Your New Year, because why the heck not? This is a couple hours, squirrel away that time, get a favorite beverage, get some quiet, and get centered, get grounded, and get reconnected with yourself. So that is Draw in Your New Year. And that is our New Year's bundle. So definitely click links below to find the registration page. And I hope to see you soon in our next call in the Agerbeck method.